Hello students, welcome to BioWhisper with Manas. Today we are going to discuss about Kingdom Animalia. So, as we all know, R.H. Whitaker had divided the organisms into five types. What were those? Monera, Protista, fungi, then we had Plantae, and the last but not the least, Animalia. So today we are going to discuss about Animalia, this particular kingdom. So let's start. The kingdom Animalia The kingdom Animalia has certain characteristics. What are those? At first, these are multicellular. That means they have more than one cells. Then these are eukaryotic. That means they have nucleus and cell-bound organelles. Apart from that, they are heterotrophic. So they depend upon others for their own food. That means they don't have cell wall. They show or exhibit sexual reproduction, and they also show nervous system. Exception here is Porifera that doesn't have a nervous system. Apart from them, most of them are motile. That means they move from one place to another. So what are the main characteristics of multicellular? These are of kingdom Animalia. These are multicellular, eukaryotic, heterotrophic, doesn't have cell wall, doesn't have cell wall. These show sexual reproduction and also show nervous system. Porifera is the exception here. It doesn't have a nervous system and these are generally motile. They move from one place to another. So what is the basis of their classification? On which basis do we classify them? First of all, what is the level of their organization? Whether they are made up of cells, tissues, organ or organ system. Are they divisible into equal planes or not? How many germ layers or embryonic layers do they have? Two or three? Are they divisible into parts or segments? That's segmentation. Do they have their body cavity or coelom? And last, first level of organization, symmetry, germ layers, segmentation, body cavity, and last but not the least, notochord. Do they have a rod-like structure at their back which supports them or not? So these are the things which are going to study. What is the basis of classification? Level of organization, symmetry, segmentation, germ layers or embryonic layers, body cavity, and notochord. So let's discuss them individually. We will start with level of organization. There are four levels of organization. First, it's cellular level, then it's tissue level, organ level, and last but not the least, organ system level. The cellular level is found in porifera, the sponges. The tissue level is found in cnidaria, and the organ level is found in the flatworms, platyhelminths. And organ system level after platyhelminths in all other organisms. So we have the level organism, cellular level, it is found in porifera, tissue level in cnidaria, organ level in platyhelminthes or flatworms, and organ system level in other organs after platyhelminth. Now let us discuss the next term, that is symmetry. So the organisms can be asymmetrical, not divisible into any plane, radial symmetrical, divisible into equal halves from the center, bilateral symmetrical. That's mean divisible into two halves, right and left. So the example of asymmetrical is sponges. Radial symmetrical, we have the example of cnidaria. Have a look. If we divide it into from this center, these are divisible into equal parts. Bilateral symmetrical, have a look at that. If we divide them from the center, they are divisible laterally into right and left halves, and the shape is almost equal. And the best example is human being. So symmetry, body divisible from the center. If they are not divisible into equal halves, it's known as asymmetrical, and the example is sponges. If are divisible into equal parts from the center, it is known as radial symmetrical, and the examples are cnidarians. If they are divisible into right and left equal half, it is known as bilateral symmetrical, and the best example is human being. Now let's discuss another point, that is the germ layers. It is also known as embryonic layers. On the basis of germ layers, the organisms are divisible into diploblastic organisms or triploblastic organisms. Diploblastic means having two layers, ectoderm, outer layer, endoderm, inner layer. Apart from ectoderm, endoderm, if we have a middle layer that is known as mesoderm, it is known as triploblastic. So on the basis of germ layers or germanic layers or embryonic layers, organisms are divisible into diploblastic and triploblastic. Diploblastic means they have two layers, ectoderm and endoderm, and triploblastic means they have three layers. So the example of diploblastic organism is Cnidaria, and triploblastic others apart from Cnidaria. After Cnidaria, that means we have triploblastic organisms. Now let us discuss other point. What is that? That's body cavity. That is known as coelom. If the organism doesn't have body cavity, it is known as coelomate. Coelomate, the example here is Platyhelminthes, helminths, the flatworms. Then we have the pseudocoelomate, false coelomate having organisms. And the example here is nematoda, nematodes, nematoda. Then we have organisms which have true coeloms, a true body cavity. And the example here is Annelida and others. So body cavity, coelom. An organism may be coelomate. It may be, there are other organisms may be pseudocoelomate, or others may be coelomate too. Acoelomate is not having body cavity or coelom, and the classical example is Platyhelminthes. Pseudocoelomate organism having false coelom or body cavity. Example nematoda, and coelomate organisms having true coelom, and the example is Annelida and others. So let's move forward. Now let us discuss about segmentation. What do you mean by the term segmentation? Body divisible into parts or segments, that is called segmentation. And all the organs look similar in shape. And the examples of segmentation is found in Annelida, Arthropoda, and chordates. So segmentation, body divisible into parts, all the parts look similar, and the examples are Annelida, Arthropoda, and chordata. Now let us move towards the last segment. What is the last segment? Last segment is notocode. Rod like a structure. A structure. Chordates have notocode. Non-chordates don't have notocode. Human beings at first have notocode, and afterwards the notocodes develop into vertebral column in humans. So we have discussed today about animal kingdom, the features and also the basis of their classification. We will continue this particular lecture in the next segment and in the next lecture. If you like my videos, do subscribe my channel,